I think a lot of us underestimate how much our environment actually affects and shapes us. This could be the people that we are around, the places that we go every day, the job that we work, the city that we live in. All of this slowly affects how we think, what we believe is possible, and how motivated we feel to grow. Welcome back to Find Your Power podcast. I am your host, Avery Jane. And today you can see I also have a new setup if you guys are watching the video version. I am in a new location again, so welcome to the new studio for the time being. If you are listening to audio, likely everything sounds the exact same, so not too big of a change here. In today's episode, I do want to discuss how much your environment truly shapes you. And this is not only from a perspective of jobs, but honestly just a full life experience. And also, I want to give you guys tips on how you can change the environment that you are in if you're not satisfied with it. I don't think that it's as hard as we sometimes make it seem. Of course, it's not so easy to just get up and move if you are not happy with where you live. It's not always a realistic or practical thing to do, but I also don't think it's impossible to kind of branch out to different environments and without risking a lot of money to do so as well. But before we get truly started into the episode, I do also want to explain where this topic idea came from, because I do like to compare them to my own world and how I kind of thought of them. So basically, I was thinking about my own life and I noticed something that I do subconsciously that I hadn't exactly noticed before. So where I live right now is relatively close to where I go to school, so it's a very convenient area to live in, but it's not an area that I like to spend a lot of time in just because I already do live there, and it's basically just not an area that I love being in all the time, if that makes sense. It's not somewhere where I want to spend all my time. So what I have done subconsciously is I work in different areas than I live in. So this means that, yes, this includes some travel time. This includes maybe 30 minutes driving or more, but I'm spending more time in an environment or an area that I enjoy more than where I live. And I think that the concept of doing this, I don't think is something that's unreasonable for everyone. Of course, there is different things that you have to factor into it. Of course, if you don't have transportation that far to a job, or if you work from home, there are certain things that you do need to take into consideration if you are going to do something similar to this. But it's kind of a way that I've found best to balance where I live with the environment where I work, because I didn't want to spend more time in the area that I live than I needed to, if that makes sense. I think when we feel stuck in life, we a lot of times dig deep inward into ourselves, and a lot of times this is the case. I mean, if you are feeling stuck, there's a chance that it's due to some mental block that you are having, or some other mental thing that you are dealing with, right? But it's not always just inward. Sometimes we can look at our surroundings and find the cause of why we may be feeling stuck in our surroundings as well. Maybe part of the reason that you are feeling stuck or unmotivated could be because of who and what you are surrounded by. And it may simply just be because you have gotten so comfortable in your same routines every day, doing the same things, seeing the same people, seeing the same places, and the same energy every day, that it gets to be pretty repetitive. And sometimes this can lead to feeling stuck because you can't see a way out of this never-ending pattern of the same things every day. that maybe you're not completely happy with? Well, I think that when it comes to me and my choice to work in different areas that I live in, and by different areas, I do mean different cities. Cities are close to one another. I'm not driving hours on end to go to work, although if you had the means to and you would like to, then you could. But even just a simple change of 30, 45 minutes away, choosing to work in different areas than you live is not only helping you see more of an environment, but it's giving you a little bit more of an opportunity to step out of your same patterns and your same places that you see every day, and it gives you the opportunity to experience more than just the surrounding places where you live, just the areas that you visit every day. I think by now we all probably know that we pretty much absorb or mimic the energy that we are surrounded by. And this could simply just mean that if people that you spend most of your time with throughout every day if they are ambitious, they are driven, they have goals, it's likely that you're going to have the same mindset, and you're likely also going to be ambitious and develop goals. And whether you had them before befriending these people or spending time with these people or not, it's likely that you're going to develop these and you're going to start to have this mindset as well. Whereas if you are surrounded by people that are stuck as well, just like you, and kind of going through the routine every day, the same type of schedule, the same type of routine, it's likely that you are also going to stay in this routine and you are going to do the same thing that they're doing. Because I think it is so easy and so often that we do mimic the people and the energies around us. We almost absorb the same type of lifestyle that we are used to seeing around us. And of course, that's not always the case. You can be an outlier in the people around you, but most of the time it is harder to do that. Of course, if you think about it in the way that, say you move to a new house or a new city or a new town, whatever, you are going to be seeing all these new opportunities, having things from a slightly different perspective maybe, and even stepping out of your comfort zone to an extent. But then after some time, you are going to start getting used to these things around you. You're going to get used to the new city, the new town, the new house that you live in. And sometimes this is a nice thing. I think comfort is good a lot of times, but at the same time, it's harder to grow in environments where you have just the same things every day in repetition. And these same patterns can either be benefiting you or they can be making things harder for you to grow. I do want to touch on if you guys are feeling stuck where you live. Kind of like I mentioned in the beginning, if you're feeling stuck where you live, it's not necessarily a trap. You may feel stuck, but even if you can't just get up and move right now, if that's not realistic for you, that doesn't mean that that's the only option. You don't have to get up and completely move towns or cities to experience new things in your environment. Like I said, what I did, there's the option to work in a different area than you live. If you have the opportunity to do that, definitely take that opportunity, whether that's working in a new location than you already work, or if you work from home or work from your laptop, maybe that's going to a different location. Maybe it's a coffee shop or a library or some other conference or studio that you can work in that's a little further away from where you live. And even though this might seem kind of pointless, why drive 25 minutes to go work when I don't have to, really may open your eyes to new experiences and new environments that could benefit you in the long run. And you may even see results of the new environment and stepping out of your comfort zone could be shown quickly to you. Even if the working idea is not realistic for you either, you can still make changes to your environment in other ways. Maybe changing the people that you are spending time with. Maybe it has to do with the people that you are spending time with that is what's making you feel stuck or draining you or making you feel like you're in the same patterns. Maybe you start hanging out with a few other people that you haven't seen in a while, or maybe it's new people that you meet, and or even joining different clubs or organizations that where you can meet people with the similar outlooks on life as you, or outlooks on life that you want to have. Even where you go when you're not working can affect you mentally and be a big part of your environment. Say you have the same bar or restaurant that you go to every single weekend, try a different one maybe. If this feels like it's getting repetitive, if it's feeling like you're seeing the same people there and they're maybe not having the same mindsets or values as you, maybe try stepping into a new area, a new restaurant, a new part of town that you haven't been to or you haven't been to in a little while, and trying to meet new people there. And this could even boil down to just the content that you are consuming on your phone, any digital media that you are consuming. If you feel that you are taking in more negative content or content that you feel is putting you down or making you feel less motivated, more insecure, or whatever it may be, maybe take that as a sign that you should look into different content. There's also like those muting buttons or the disliking buttons if it's something that you find is not serving you in the best way. You can always do that. That's an option, because it's true that it could be bringing you down more than you think. Going back to the whole idea that did inspire this episode about my personal life with working in different places than I live, I want to explain that the part of the reason that I do this is not only because I wanted to see different environments and meet different people and see different places around me, but it was also because when you work in different environments or you go experience different environments than you live in, it makes your world feel bigger and it makes it feel like there are more opportunities out there for you. It makes your world feel larger and your opportunities feel bigger than just the small town or the small city or area that you live in. Even just driving to a new area sometimes can shift your mindset and give you new perspectives and environments to experience and to look at. Even if it's just for a few hours, you go drive somewhere that you haven't seen. I remember I've done this a few times where I drove to new areas near where I live, and maybe they were only 30 minutes away from where I live. They were directions that I have not driven in before, and I saw things that I didn't think were even close to where I live. And this could even motivate you to change your own living area as well. Once you see different places and different lifestyles, you may be inspired to even change your own. And this could ultimately make you more content with the place that you do live in now. So now that I've talked a lot about how you can make changes to your own environment, or you can branch out to make changes and experience new environments, I do also want to mention that sometimes, yes, the environment does need to change, or maybe you do need to experience new environments around you to not feel so trapped or closed in to your small area that you live. But sometimes it's not just the environment around you that needs to change, but your mindset about your own environment that you're already in. Sometimes it's your mindset that needs to change. If you're constantly telling yourself that the place that you live in or the place that you're usually working at or wherever you normally are, if you're not happy with it, and if you're constantly telling yourself that you don't belong there or that you hate it there or that nothing good ever happens there or nothing good can come of living there, that is going to affect how you feel about the place. And of course, like I said, you may need a change. You may need a change in environment. You may need to branch out a little bit. But if that's not always an option, sometimes you do need to look inward, and you should change your perspective to an extent. Instead of saying that the place around you is so terrible and that you hate where you live, maybe look at ways to make it better and make changes to the environment that you live in now. Like I said, you can get inspiration from other lifestyles that look intriguing to you or that look interesting to you. Maybe you like the idea of living in a cabin in the mountains or in the woods, and you want to live in a more rural area, but where you work and you live now is more in the city. Instead of having to pick up and completely change locations, if that's not something that's realistic for you right now, maybe start to make your house feel like you live where you want to live. Maybe incorporate some wood and cabin like features into your house or into your room, or maybe even just one room in your house, or vice versa. If you live in a more rural area and you want to live in a big city, maybe incorporating more of that modern city look to your living area, modern city vibe to your house or your living area or your room. If you're feeling stuck in just the whole environment where you live, not just your house, you can try to pick out the beauty in the environment that you live in. And it might be hard to do at first, but trying to romanticize some of the things around you always helps me. Maybe that's finding a new coffee shop near your house or even a little bit further from your house that suits you better, and maybe it's a nicer environment for you to go to. Or maybe you find a park nearby your house that you like to experience the nature in, or maybe it's restaurants nearby or further away that you haven't experienced before. If you're able to create new routines in your day to day, that can give you more opportunity to romanticize your daily routine and your schedule and your environment around you. This could really help you as well. You can't change your entire environment. You can find different things within it to kind of shift your mindset and make you enjoy it more. Sometimes you don't need a completely new life or new environment, but what you need is a new way to move through your day-to-day life or environment. When it comes to career and job growth, your environment can also shape you in this way. Making sure that the environment that you're working in is actually a good work environment is very important, because if you are working somewhere that you do not enjoy or you think that it is a bad work environment, it could drain you and make you question your future goals. And this could be the reason if you're questioning what you want to do as your future career. It might not be the actual career itself or the job itself that you are questioning, but maybe it's because the environment that you work in now is making you feel like it's not exactly the right fit for you. But when you work in a good environment, if it's something that aligns with you, you're going to be reassured that this is the right path for you and the right career goal and the right job, maybe, that is there for you, or even give you a better perspective on which types of jobs or careers could match you best. Even if the place that you are working at now doesn't quite fit you exactly, if the environment is positive and the environment is encouraging, it should help to guide you into which career or job path that you do want to go on. The jobs that you choose, because of the environment, they matter a lot in shaping your experiences and your skills and even your vision for a future career or job. Something that really helps is trying out different areas to work in or different environments, because this can help you decide which one suits you best to work in for a future career. Maybe you try out one that is very fast paced, then maybe you also try out a work environment that is kind of more calm and supportive and encouraging, and this can help you discover kind of which one you would want to remain in for the long term. And it could even be that you find you work best in in an environment that is changing, constantly changing, or that you need more variety than others. I want to stress in this episode that wherever you are now, if you're feeling stuck, you're not actually stuck there. You can always make changes, even if they're small, to change things in your life for the better that will suit you more. If you're not happy with where you're living, you don't just have to accept that. You can make intentional choices that can slowly shift your environment or create changes. And a large way that I would suggest to do this is by also looking for opportunities outside of where you live. Some small changes that I would suggest you guys to start making if you are feeling stuck in the place that you live now is maybe to apply to schools or jobs that are in cities or even states or countries that are outside of where you live now. And this could even be just nearby cities. It doesn't have to be a whole country change, but if you can do that and you want to, then why not? I also want to encourage you guys to make friends out of your normal circle that you normally hang out with. Maybe, like I said, try to join other organizations or going to new environments with people that encourage you and inspire you more. And meeting new people there. Also, spending time in places that do inspire you can be very impactful. That's another thing that I found for myself personally in places that I work. You don't have to work in those areas, but even just spending time there. And sometimes the answer is simply that you don't have to change your entire environment, but maybe you just need it to stop defining you in the ways that you're letting it define you. But your current environment does not have to be your final destination. You're allowed to want more and you're allowed to outgrow the places and the people and the environment that you're in now and that you grew up in. You're allowed to experience more in the world if you're feeling stuck in the small area that you are already in. And maybe this means making slow changes, but if you don't do anything, nothing will change. So slow is better than nothing. Outgrowing the place that you live or the environment that you're in now also doesn't have to mean that you're quote unquote better than your environment or anything like that. It just means that you're outgrowing the area and you're ready to experience different things. To start to wrap up the episode, I just want to emphasize that yes, your environment does shape your your mindset, your habits, your goals, and even your confidence sometimes, but you still have the power to respond to your environment in different ways. You have the power to change your mindset on how you think about your environment, how you respond to things in your environment, and also even to make changes to change your environment as well. Even if that means just driving to a new location, just driving to experience new areas nearby. Maybe it means applying to new jobs outside of where you live right now. Maybe it even just means finding new coffee shops or restaurants or meeting new people outside of the area that you live. And people that have ambitious and growth mindsets that inspire you. You don't have to stay stuck in the same routines just because they feel comfortable and familiar. I encourage you guys to step out of your comfort zone if you are feeling stuck in the same routine and the same schedule. Maybe try something new, even if it's small, and making the effort to romanticize your life in certain aspects, in certain ways, finding the positives or the beautiful things in your environment is a good way to start to romanticize the things around you as well. But if you're feeling stuck where you are, it's important that you do not ignore this feeling. It really could mean that you're craving growth or some kind of change in a new perspective. And even if you cannot move to a whole new city or state or country tomorrow, that doesn't mean that you cannot make any changes at all in your life. You can start by making small changes that remind you that there is more out there for you. That does conclude today's episode of Find Your Power. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and listening today. Tune in every Thursday to listen or watch on YouTube or Spotify. For audio only, I'm on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, and Audible. And if you do listen on there, please subscribe to the YouTube. Follow the podcast or the channel wherever you do listen. And if you guys do enjoy the podcast, please rate it 5 stars wherever you listen as well. It really helps the podcast grow. Leave any comments or reviews on each episode. I read them all and I really appreciate them. And if you guys would like to be featured for an interview or a conversation on the podcast, please send me an email in the email linked in the podcast description, or you can shoot me a DM on the Instagram at findyourpower_podcast. That is also the same handle as the TikTok. And also, if you know somebody that is feeling stuck right now in their environment, maybe send this episode over to them. It may give them some new ideas in how to kind of make some changes in their life, and it could really benefit them. Or if you think someone could benefit from the whole podcast in general, please send it to them because we do not gatekeep here. Thank you guys again so much for watching and or listening today. I will talk to you guys again soon next Thursday, and don't forget, we will find your power.